All right, we will go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome to the POR, the IndusTEA for Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics. As we get started, take a few moments to drop in the chat what state you're watching from. Make sure your chat goes to panelists and attendees. All right, see a few different coming in. South Dakota, Rhode Island, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. Sweet. So my name is Kayla Ketterling, and I am the SkillsUSA High School National Vice President, and I will be moderating our discussion today. There will be some time for questions from the audience later, so for our participants, be thinking of questions that you would like to ask our panelists. Joining us for our panel today is Mr. Rick Labadie. Mr. Labadie is a Bachelor of Business Administration in Marketing and Management and has worked with Penske Transportation for 20 years in a variety of positions. He's held positions in many areas of the company, including sales, operations, service and management, and staffing and talent acquisition. He is currently the recruiting manager for Penske. Mr. Labadie has been on the SkillsUSA National Diesel Tech Committee for 3 years. Mr. Scott Sanford. Mr. Sanford has a diverse background with 20 years of experience in the automotive and education industry before joining Toyota 19 years ago. Some of his experience includes being an automotive student in high school, teaching high school auto shop classes, recruiting students for a well-known automotive school, and managing 40 auto service locations for an automotive equipment and services company. Mr. Sanford is now a TTEN field manager for Toyota, and his responsibilities include finding potential certified technicians and matching them with dealerships for training and work. He currently works with 1,400 dealerships and 35 colleges in his position. And finally, Mr. Chris Evans. Mr. Evans trained and worked in the collision industry and began his career with State Farm as a field claim adjuster in 1992. He has held many positions in the company, with his current position being a claim consultant with consulting responsibilities for the Western United States and in-office auto claim operations. Mr. Evans represents State Farm at many industry activities and is a SkillsUSA alumni. He also currently serves as the National Committee Chair for the new Collision Damage Appraisal Competition. And we will jump right into some questions here. So let's start with Mr. Evans. What drew you to your career cluster and your career path, and how did you get a start in your career?
Thanks, Kayla. Appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the panel here, and looking forward to the discussion. So what drew me to my career in this area was really just my passion for all things automobiles. Ever since I was a little kid, I was just fascinated with cars and everything about cars. And so kind of how I got kind of formally introduced to the educational part of my career was during a school career day back in high school. The local technical college came and offered a presentation on various vocational or technical related careers, and since that time I just basically jumped right in with both feet and didn't look back. So it's pretty straightforward.
Awesome, thank you. And if our other two panelists want to answer that one as well, go ahead and jump in.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Rick Labadie from Penske. Similar to Chris and Scott. Really just starting it from an early age. I was really fascinated with the larger trucks, the Tonka trucks when I was a kid. The monster trucks, and then obviously racing. That's really how I had a fascination with it to get in really into the transportation and industry, and really having a career with Penske. Over my 20 years here with the company.
Okay, I'll take a whack at it. So how did I get into this? Might not be the most glamorous story, but I am very sure if I've got some high school students on the other end, that they can probably relate to my experience. I wasn't doing very well in my Spanish class, so my counselor had a talk with me. What are we going to do with Scott? And they put me into automotive. So, well, maybe you can do all right in that. And I loved it. It was hands-on. It was problem solving. I didn't have to sit in a chair all day or all hour. I could run around and do things. And I just liked it. I liked working with my hands, putting my hands on things. I liked the kind of people that were in it. I liked cars. Cars were a pretty cool thing when I was in high school. So I kept at it, decided I wanted to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. So I thought, well, I liked shop class in high school. So I became an industrial arts major, and ended up teaching auto shop in high school for a while. I was so passionate about the idea that a person should have a degree, a skill, or a trade, something like that, that I wanted to introduce people to the automotive industry. So I became a recruiter for a school in Arizona. I did that for a number of years. I went to work for an automotive equipment company as a salesman, but I did do a lot of training. I trained some very experienced technicians on how to do all sorts of wheel services, alignments, brakes, steering, suspension, the whole works there. Was recruited by an oil company, actually, to manage and run 40 gas stations, the operations side, the service side of it. Got laid off one day, and knew because I was in the automotive business, there would always be a job for me. It did not bother me really at all. Over the next 30 days, I looked for a job. I didn't see anything I liked. I found something at Toyota that had something similar to all my experiences, and I thought, well, that's made for me. And I put in an application, and almost 20 years later, here I am. It's been a great ride. It's been a great industry to be in. If I didn't have a job today, I could get another one tomorrow. And it doesn't matter what the economy is like. Cars break. You need to fix them. They need to be worked on. Your job is not going to be outsourced to a foreign country. People will need to bring their vehicles into dealerships. It's been a great ride for me. I do have a bachelor's degree. With this job with Toyota, I have been to literally every state in the country with the exception of Alaska. It is just a wonderful, wonderful experience. It's been a good career pathway, but it all started with not doing well in Spanish and going into high school auto shop. So here I am.
I think your story is very relatable for a lot of students, and all of our stories definitely aren't glamorous, so that's all right.
Well, it's true. And by the way, I do make more than my high school counselor, so there you go.
There you go. All right, and let's start with Mr. Labadie on this one. Just speak a little bit about how your role now is different compared to when you started in your professional career.
Well, I started, as a youngster, back in the day, in our rental department. So I kind of learned in our business at Penske, it's more, dealing with commercial customers, consumer customers, B2B, kind of learning the ropes, kind of learning the industry. you know, really the transportation, the trucks side of it, you know, to where I'm at today. Obviously I've been fortunate to be able to move within our organization into different roles and getting exposure to different avenues of our business, from our rental side of the business to our sales side to spending time in our maintenance service departments, you know, for about 4 years, where that's where I learned the ins and outs. I mean, my background, I did not have a, you know, automotive or diesel background. I really learned when I worked in that service department, learning from the technicians, learning from our shop service management, you know, interacting with customers, you know, to really learn the ins and outs of really our bread and butter of our business and maintaining our vehicles. To be able to step into my role, you know, 9 years ago, into our talent acquisition side, where I now have exposure to really learn, you know, all aspects of our business and be able to interact with potential, you know, candidates to bring into this organization. So obviously my journey here, you know, I'm leading a team of recruiters throughout the country, you know, to bring in top talented individuals. And we really look for, you know, SkillsUSA as being that foundation for the future, you know, talent. You know, I can speak probably for Scott and Chris, you know, without having this, you know, platform, and we got to encourage more younger people to really get into this industry. And there's a tremendous shortage in the transportation, you know, whether it's auto, diesel, collision repair, you know, you name it. There is a tremendous shortage out there, and we need more people to get enthusiastic about joining this industry.
Thank you. And Mr. Evans, if you could speak on that one too, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I've been at State Farm for 33 years, and as you introduced me, you heard that I started my career as a claims adjuster. And in fact, that's exactly where I started, in the work in the metro area of Cleveland, Ohio, handling claims there, auto claims there. And I would say, you know, I echo Rick's comments that, and would add to them that, you know, this transportation segment, there's such diversity, there's so many opportunities, whether it's, you know, logistics or just straight on transportation, or auto manufacturing, or auto service area. You know, it's just amazing. And I've had a really a privileged opportunity to see through my years at State Farm here, what those opportunities are like, and just would encourage you to, you know, keep an open mind about what those opportunities are. When I started as a claims adjuster, you know, I was just focused on, you know, doing the very best job I could. Like many of you are driven to just, you know, do the very best you can. I didn't really have aspirations of leadership and getting into management and that sort of thing. But when it's amazing that when you treat people well, and, you know, you do your best, and you you know, keep up with education and trends, these things just happen. And, you know, we're all asked to take a step up and go to the next level in leadership. And I got an opportunity to try my hand at training. So I taught claim school for a while. Once claim school was, I had done that for a couple of years, I came here to corporate, and I worked in our claims research department, and fascinating stuff there. I got a chance to look at vehicle related defects, you know, unintended acceleration problems, brake failures that are inherently designed into a vehicle that, you know, they cause accidents. And you know, one of my roles was to, you know, help identify some of those defects, and some of the work that we've done is translated into recall. You know, everybody's heard of an automotive recall, and so those are some of the things I got a chance to do. And now my role is pretty much compliance and oversight. So I get a chance to oversee our operations for field claims in the Western United States, and all of our in-office operations, and get a chance to help our up and coming field leaders understand our philosophies and claim handling philosophies, and make sure that we're, you know, tight from a regulatory standpoint, doing the right things, following the laws, following the regulations in in the various states. So there's just an opportunity to see and do so many different things in a career. No matter what channel you pick, the opportunities can be endless.
Awesome. I think you both are very good examples of working through all those different levels and areas, even within just one company. So that is really impressive to see. Mr. Sanford, you spoke a little bit about the job security in this career pathway. Could you speak a little bit more about the opportunities that are available to students, what the job outlook is looking like for salaries and job security, and what opportunities they have based on location where they could work at within our country? I think you're muted there.
Thanks for reminding me. That's a big question there, but it's a pretty easy answer. Job opportunities, my specific responsibility is to keep our dealerships full with certified technicians to do service campaigns and recalls. I'll speak to that first, but then I'll speak to the overall opportunities in the industry. We have 1,400 dealerships nationwide. Not too hard to imagine that if everybody just needed one technician a year, I get 1,400 job openings. I do put about 350 kids a year to work. I've got at any one time about 750 in the hopper. A lot of schools have stopped teaching automotive, and this is where we used to get our interest. Was young people would come in and find out about shop class, parts, things, pieces, problem solving skills, hands-on. You work on teams. But there are other things that can relate to it. If a student is in a project lead the way program, which is a STEM and engineering program, we would love to have them because those are all the same skills. As far as the company goes or the industry, gee, anything that touches the car, there is a job on the other side of it. If you're selling financing, if you're selling insurance, if you're selling cars, if you're fixing cars, if you're in the marketing department, you see commercials all the time trying to sell cars. Just anything that touches a car, there is job security with. So I have never in my life been worried about not having a job. I did mention that I was laid off. Our oil company was bought by another oil company, and they were really sorry to let me go. And I said, "Don't worry about it. I'm automotive services. I'm not oil. I'll have a job tomorrow." And it was interesting. They were like, "Really?" Yeah, really. So it's a great profession to get into. I did not know when I started where this journey would take me. But every day there are opportunities for me. I'm just still in the same position because I love what I do. I have a passion. If you have a passion for cars, if you just wake up in the morning and you think about cars, maybe you check on your car at night before you go to bed, you have passion. That's what will take you where you want to go. I've had many opportunities to do all kinds of other things in the company. I think we have about 6,000 people employed in Plano, Texas. Some are engineers, some are former technicians. Some people have no auto experience at all, but they are marketing people. And, they figure out cool ways to market a Tundra or a Tacoma or, something like that to connect with people. So sky's the limit. Cars aren't going away. People will always need to get from A to B. We call ourselves now a mobility company, not really a car company anymore. So you're going to have, I don't know what's coming next, flying cars or what, but people will always need to be going from point A to point B. And that's what we do. So pay opportunities, you were asking about that. The technicians that I start with are usually fresh out of high school. They are usually 17, 18, maybe 19 years old. They start at a little bit over minimum wage. We've got a progression that you move through a dealership, whatever brand, you will find that also. You'll start out as a maintenance level technician and maybe a certified expert level, master level. We have a level called the master diagnostic technician. We call them an MDT. An MDT in any major metro market makes a six-figure income. To translate that for you, that's over $100,000 a year as a technician. Now you can move on up. You can be a team leader. You can be a shop foreman. You can be a service manager. All of those take a little, they get a little bump on what is made in the shop, so they do better. General managers, geez, those guys always have big houses and a boat and a plane and nice stuff. So it is not just a job, it's a career. And I started out I started out in a gas station, checking batteries and checking the oil and washing a windshield and stuff like that. But I mean, look what it's turned into. So there's always something next. It may not start out as a high-paying job, but as you get good at something and find something new that's interesting in the automotive business, there is always more opportunity and there is always better pay. I was offered a lot of opportunities after I left the oil company before I came to work for Toyota that I turned down. I just wanted to pursue my passion, which is really helping young people get into the business. So I hope that answers maybe one or two of your questions.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And Mr. Labadie, if you could talk, I know all three of your organizations are a little bit different, so I'd like each of you to kind of speak about those opportunities within your organizations.
Yeah, I mean, similar to, what Scott was saying, there's opportunities for everybody right now. There's a tremendous shortage, for skilled trades, really, automotive diesel technicians that are out there at collision repair. I mean, we need them. Right now, I have close to 1,000 openings right now across the company. 340 of them are entry-level talent. So, similar to what Scott was saying, we look for, high school, post-secondary, students, whether they're automotive, diesel, hands-on, that they have some aspirations that they want to learn and grow. Those are the type of folks we want. You're going to get your training, at your schools today, but it's going to be ongoing training with any organization you go to. We have a pretty complex preventive maintenance process here at Penske. You're before you even step into the shop, you have to go through a training program, to become certified. So it's an ongoing training, and development, a tremendous amount of opportunities for anybody that wants to get into this industry. I mean, we look for people who want careers, right? We don't want somebody that wants a job. We want a job, there might be somebody else, and we want somebody that's going to stick and want to learn and grow. That's the type of person, the mentality that we look for in any individual. Somebody that's, has a will-do attitude, aptitude, willingness to learn, and some type of basic mechanical skill set. We're going to be able to train up. Similar to the entry-level roles, we have roles from fueling and washing of trucks, getting them prepped up for our customers, for our rental customers, commercial customers. Then we call them entry-level technicians, which are primarily doing the preventive maintenance on the oil changes on the equipment, to the more mid-level technicians, to more of our senior level technicians, being able to work on pretty much everything, more of our master journeyman type of technicians. And, people don't really, leave our organization. I mean, our average tenure is right around 10 years, all in, which is pretty good for our industry. But, a lot of opportunities for training and development. That's where, you're going to really learn, the craft, or the skill, to become that master level technician, and hopefully maybe become a service manager, area vice president of maintenance, and, et cetera. So it's really, aspirations are really there. Pay and whatnot. I think we do fairly well with entry level, talent. I mean, typically we start off between $17 to $20 an hour. And it depends on the market too. I mean, there's some markets out west or, you know, metro markets are going to be starting off a little bit more too. So full benefits, you know, vacation time, there's a lot of factors that when you start looking for opportunities, you got to look at the big picture. You know, you may be, you know, like what Scott was saying, you know, you're going to start off probably entry level, but as soon as you want to see what the career progression is going to be, and that's where you, each and every one of us, you know, should be looking for, you know, when you're choosing your opportunity for your career, where the next opportunity is. And it takes time, and nothing's going to happen overnight. You're not going to become a, you know, a journeyman technician or, you know, overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to learn. You got to learn the ropes. You got to learn this trade. You got to learn the industry. And if you're willing to learn that, you're going to go places. And having that attitude and aptitude is going to take you a long way.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Yeah. So I echo those sentiments. The organizations that Scott and Rick work for, it's really not a lot different in you know, in the insurance industry. The opportunities are there for sure. I'll speak just for a moment though about the automotive industry in general though. You know, as part of the transportation sector or segment that we're in and representing here, the automotive industry is just one part of that. And not to throw a bunch of numbers at you, but as I was preparing to comment, I wanted to see, well, how much does the auto industry mean to the United States economy? And it really has historically been 3.5 to 4% of the overall GDP, gross domestic product, in the United States. The automotive industry just alone, not just logistics and transportation broadly, but just the automotive sector industry employs 1.7 million people engaged in design, engineering, manufacturing, supply of parts, sales and service. And a lot of the folks that are maybe on this call are interested in the service side of things. And there's a lot of opportunity there, a tremendous amount of opportunity. And so when my involvement with Skills has really spanned three different areas: collision repair technology, refinishing technology, and the new competition that we just started, collision damage appraisal and total loss evaluation. And each one of those three kind of areas of automotive, the salary opportunities are can be very favorable. A lot of refinish technicians, you know, they're making six figures now, and it's again, you don't start out making that, but you can move up pretty quickly if you're talented and you're willing to learn and you really embrace, you know, technology changes and that sort of thing, which come pretty fast and furious in the automotive industry. As far as, you know, being an estimator, an appraiser, or an adjuster, you know, you can go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's pretty easy to find on the internet, and you can search, you know, state by state and see what job opportunities are there, the number of employees in those roles, what the salaries are. You know, they range, you know, $70,000 to $100 and some thousand, as you know, as a seasoned, you know, as a professional. So again, those are just a few of the opportunities that, you know, I've been made aware of, you know, through my time at State Farm and working with Skills. So I hope that answers your question, Kayla.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And I know you just mentioned some technological advances. What are some technological advances or industry trends that you all are seeing currently? And what are we doing to stay on top of those? Mr. Evans, you can start on that one if you want, or
okay,
if
sure.
anybody has something.
I'll be quick. I know we've got a lot to cover here, but this is probably one of the most interesting questions I found. And I'll tell you, in my role, there's really 3 or 4 big things that are trending right now. Autonomous vehicles. And, you know, Rick, you probably are familiar with this, and I know, Scott, you certainly are, but the automotive industry is moving quickly to autonomous vehicles, meaning these vehicles drive themselves. And there's 5 basic levels of ADAS or vehicle autonomy. And we're seeing more and more. ADAS stands for Advanced Driver Assist Systems. So lane assist, emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, collision avoidance technology. These are things that have come really just out of nowhere over the last 3 years in earnest, and it's been a really game changer for the industry. You know, the opportunities, even new companies are starting up to do calibration of these systems and those sorts of things. The other thing, and I'll pass it on to my peers here, artificial intelligence. You may have heard of that. This is machine learning. This is feeding information into a computer and having a computer learn and do tasks, and take tasks that would normally maybe be menial tasks that are done by humans, and machines are beginning to do them. So we're seeing some of that in our space, and the technology there also is very fascinating.
Yeah, I would say echo, what Chris was saying. AI, artificial intelligence, a big word now in our space. It's out there. We got to stay on top of that and the latest trends and whatnot. The thing that we started too is electric vehicles, electric trucks. We've seen them in the auto side of it, but in our side, we are one of the first transportation organizations to have Class 8 and Class 6 medium duty and heavy duty tractor trailers or tractors to have electric vehicles. We're running in them right now on the West Coast, Los Angeles in particular, that market, and some in Metro New York area. So that's becoming a game changer for us, and more organizations are going to that, more of that electric. It's expensive to run, especially with the bigger heavy duty trucks. But that's going to be the thing in the future. And having our technicians learning that side of the business, we had to train them up. And that's the good thing with ongoing training and development. You have to stay on top of the industry trends. Doesn't matter if you're on the automotive side or the diesel side of it. You have to stay on top of the trends and the ongoing technology changes that are happening out there. So I'll be quick on this one, but yeah, that's definitely what we're looking at. Definitely electric, the autonomous trucks, the heavy duty. I think we're a little ways away from the bigger trucks out there. I know on the car side of it, I think it's going to be sooner than the truck side, but it's very, very fascinating to really see the ever changing, our industry, to really change, whether it's auto or the diesel side of the business. It's really cool to see in action.
Okay, I'll go, I guess. My turn? Hello?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Well, technology is the big thing. When I was a youngster and got into this, I liked it because it was mechanical. If it was broken, I could see that. If I could just unbolt it and put a new one on, that was easy. Sometimes I had to figure things out, but now more of the work is what we call diagnostic level. Electricity touches just about everything on that vehicle now. You can't open the door unless you've got a key fob. You can't roll your window down. We have bumpers that have sonar technology in it. Everybody knows what sonar is for. You find fish at the bottom of the lake or submarines or something like that. But it will also tell you how close your bumper is to maybe the garage wall. We have laser technology that bounces a beam off and back from the car in front of you to warn your car to slow down or keep a safe distance. We have pedestrian recognition. There might be a camera buried underneath your rear view mirror that can see a pedestrian. We have we came out with lane keep alert, then it was lane keep assist, and that's dynamic lane keep assist. If the cameras can see the lines on the road, it'll keep your car in the center of the road, no hands. Not supposed to do that, but to someone's point, autonomous vehicles are coming. So you really need to like technology. You need to learn electrical. We teach hybrid technology in all of the colleges I work with now. We are on the latest iteration called fuel cell hydrogen technology. So we fuel the car now with hydrogen, not gasoline anymore. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, so I think it's going to be here for a while. And those are electric cars. What many don't realize is the fuel cell strips an electron off of that hydrogen molecule and sends it through a wire to turn the motor, to turn the wheels, so it's electric. And then when it rejoins on the way out, it joins with oxygen and moisture, water vapor comes out the tailpipe. So it's clean. So it's clean technology. So you should like technology. If you've got all the latest gadgets on your phone, if you've got all the latest apps, if you like using your computer, we have computer, you know, something like a Tundra might have 40 computers on it that talk to each other. Well, we have a device called a tech stream. It's a diagnostic tool. It's a computer that talks to all the other 40 computers. It doesn't tell you what's wrong with the car, but it gives you data and you have to make a decision. So you still have to think. But the technology is the big deal. You need to like technology. And a couple have mentioned that this is lifelong learning. I am an old timer here, but I still go to 6-7 classes a year. I do my e-learning modules. We make 22 models of Toyota, and I can't keep up with Lexa. They've got a bunch of them, but we do mid-year changes. We do a change yearly. So anything that's new that comes out gets changed. So when I talk to our graduating students, I not only congratulate them on finishing the program, but it is really the start of learning because they will learn for the rest of their lives. You have to enjoy that. You have to figure out how to learn on your own. We teach our students how to learn on their own. And it's just continuous improvement if you get into the business. But you've got to enjoy that. That's what I love about it. I am near retirement, but I still get better at my job every day and I learn something every day.
Perfect. Thank you for those responses. And we're going to go through just a couple individual questions here. So starting with Mr. Labadie, a lot of your work in the last 10 years has dealt with recruiting. So what are some skills that you look for in potential employees?
Well, skills, I think it goes to more of that personable, right? You know, how they interact with people. You know, do they have, you know, a will-do mentality? They have a good aptitude, you know, some type of basic mechanical skill set. You know, diagnostics is a big thing, right? And you're learning a little bit of that in school now, but you know, that's going to be, you know, we're no longer tearing down engines, rebuilding engines. It's what Scott was saying. It is more diagnostic computers. You know, that's really what we look for, you know, in any type of talent, you know, and skills that we look for, and willingness to continue learning, right? We're always going to continue learning. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're just starting out or, you know, like Scott, he's close to retirement. You know, we're always constantly learning. In our industry, you have to be on top of the latest trends and being open to that, right? It's an ongoing learning, and technology is piece of its key there. So.
And Mr. Evans, from firsthand experience as SkillsUSA alumni, how does SkillsUSA prepare students to enter the workforce?
So you all have maybe, I guess the best way to answer the question for me is, I was, I can't remember if I said this. I know we were chatting beforehand, but I graduated in 1984 from a technical school that embraced then VICA, Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. So I've kind of been involved ever since then. And I know Scott has as well, and I'm not sure about Rick, but what I've found is, and you've all heard the word, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, There's some truth to that, but I would say that my time with Skills has really been about both of those things. It's about what I know from the standpoint of excellence in my craft, and competing and training to get to the point where I can compete, helping others prepare for competition. That's really honing your craft, honing your skills, and Skills does that. It drives you and excites you about becoming excellent in your craft, in your vocation, in your career. The other part of that, though, as I mentioned, it's not what you know, it's who you know. The who you know, I will tell you, and like Scott, I'm not too far away from retirement. But if I could look back and say, what would I have done differently? What would I have focused more on, or what did I really benefit from? It wasn't just the academic side of learning, but it was really creating networks of people that that help you along the way, that you help along the way, that provide information critical to your success in your career, really support those sorts of things. I'm sure Scott and Rick have Rolodexes as big as mine. I use the term Rolodex, it's all electronic now, but I've got thousands of people in my Rolodex, and I rely upon those people, and I feel that Skills enables you to build those relationships with educators, with peers, with others, with people in your other peer groups and different association activities and things like that. Don't ever underestimate the importance of your network of people and support.
That is some great advice. Thank you. And for our participants, if you would like to start using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen to send in questions, we will take some of those. And while we're waiting for some questions to come in, Mr. Sanford, could you give us just a brief overview of the TTEN program and explain how students would get involved in something like that, whether it's the TTEN program itself or a similar program?
Well, getting involved with TTEN is very easy. We have a website, very cleverly named TTEN.com. You have to put T-TEN.com. TTEN, by the way, is Technician Training and Education Network. Now, if you put T and a 10 in there, you'll go to a website for sailboats. All right, so you have to spell out T10.com. Go there and it will give you all kinds of information, testimonials from students, testimonials from dealers, testimonials from everybody, a how-to enroll, a school locator. So that part is very easy. Now, if you have the, if you're a friend of the bow tie, that would be Chevrolet or General Motors, really, or the Blue Oval, that would be Ford. They have their websites also. There's plenty out there for everybody. So you would pick the manufacturer you're interested in, and they run similar programs. The model we use most of the time, I can't say all the time, most of the time, is you go to school for 9 weeks and you work for 9 weeks. School 9 weeks, work for 9 weeks. So what you do is you learn electrical at school, and then you go to work for 9 weeks and you practice electrical. You come back to school for 9 weeks and take steering, suspension, brakes. You go back to the dealership and you work for 9 weeks and practice steering, suspension, and brakes. So it's a pretty cool setup. It's a 2-year program. 1 year of it is spent at school. 1 year is spent working. Most of our students will earn enough money during their paid internship to pay for college. So you should be able to graduate from college debt-free. When you're in the dealership, you're usually paired up with what we call a mentor, a master level technician. We're not going to throw you out in the shop and make you sink or swim. We'll put you out there with somebody to take you under the wing, show you all the tricks and tips and how to make a good living at this. So I think your question was, what is TTEN and how do you get involved? I think that's probably close. But TTEN.com is the place to go, and you can catch up with me there.
Awesome. That sounds like a pretty good opportunity for students as well. And kind of sticking on those different opportunities that students can take advantage of, what professional development opportunities can you all think of that would be beneficial for students while they're still in high school or their trade schools or college? Just some of those professional development opportunities they can take advantage of.
I have some.
Go ahead.
If you go to TTEN.com, you can do e-learning. If you want to learn hybrid technology, if you want to learn how to do a vehicle inspection, they are free. There are e-learning modules that you can do. If you're affiliated with a TTEN school, we have what's called a TEX program, Technician Education College and High School Network. Those programs offer a maintenance level certification, which will get you in the door at the dealership. So if you've completed some e-learning, knock on the door to dealer and say, I've had some background, I've done some training. It demonstrates to that employer that you're serious about doing this. Okay.
Great, thank you. And maybe for Mr. Evans, you talked about that networking and building up your network. What are some ways that students should go about doing that?
Yeah, great question. I think skills, is a good starting point. When you meet somebody and what they do or what they share with you fascinates you, get their contact information and connect with them down the road. I'll also answer this kind of a little bit from your last question. The Automotive Management Institute, AMI, some of you may have heard of that. That is a great way to understand management excellence within the automotive industry. So AMI, you can look it up on the internet and find classes and information and seminars and things like that. The other thing, I got the privilege to serve on the ICAR board of directors. ICAR is another wonderful organization that serves it's a nonprofit organization. They develop curriculum and industry training. Embrace as much of that as you can. It's all right there. Many of the classes are online now and very accessible. And the network of individuals throughout the country that are involved in ICAR and other automotive industry associations are a wonderful way to immerse yourself in the industry, making those connections, and really understanding how to navigate your career and how do I spend my time well. So just get involved and build that network as I was indicating before.
Awesome. And we'll begin to wrap up here, but just really quickly, if each of you, starting with Mr. Labadie, could touch on some advice you would give students as they are deciding on what career path they want to follow.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to really be in front of everybody here today and to really highlight our industry, right? There's a lot of opportunities out there. And when you go to choose something and what your career, definitely there's options, right? I look at our industry, the automotive, the trucking industry, the collision repair, there is tremendous amount of opportunity. And what we look for is growth and, able to, if you're hungry, you want to learn, you want to grow, this is the industry, and it's a rewarding career. That's what you got to look for. What's in it for yourself, your family, as you continue to move on and grow. But you got to look at it. It's been a rewarding career. I can say for all of us here on this panel, we've been in this industry a long time, and the transportation industry is not going away. Just like Scott's saying, you cannot outsource our industry. I look at this year, it's been a eye-opening year with COVID, right? Our industry is considered essential. We're part of everyday life, making things happen, right? So whether it's delivering pharmaceuticals to hospitals to groceries to the grocery store. Any, you know, the automotive side, the trucking side, it's all touched by somebody, right? You cannot outsource that. And that's when you look at, you know, the career progression, yeah, it's continuing to change. But it's a great industry to be a part of. And, you know, speaking for myself, you know, it's been a rewarding career, you know, so far. You know, I still got a ways to go, but I look at it, you know, it's whatever industry you choose, you got to look at the long term. And there's tremendous amount of, you know, growth within our industry. And we're excited to be a part of Skills USA, and it's been eye-opening. It's great to see, you know, at the national levels every year, to seeing the top students competing, you know, at that national event. And we've been involved in the state and local events too, seeing, you know, the best of the best. And, you know, we had, you know, there's a couple people competing on the world stage, you know, to kind of seeing that over the last couple of years. It's really cool to really see in action. And I'm excited about this, you know, the future. We just got to get more people involved. We got to help your schools out to get more, you know, how do we get more technologies, whether we got to work with the state and governments to help support our industry to get more people involved. That's a key, you know, to see state funding cutting back programs is unheard of. We gotta be, you know, whether it's in ourselves, State Farm, you know, Toyota, Penske coming together, you know, for that to get more involvement, you know, within the schools and talk about more people getting into this trade. So with that, it kind of hopefully answers your question there.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And Mr. Sanford, if you have some final words for our participants.
Yeah, don't forget to put Skills USA on your resume when you apply for a job. At Toyota, we go through quite an involved process, and I ended up interviewing with a vice president before I got hired, and I put down that I was a VICA sponsor, and that was the only thing he looked at. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You know, I won Skills USA in 1982, I think it was." And when he said that, and we talked about that, I was pretty sure I was hired. And that's, you know, my skills got me in the door, my background got me in the door, but boy, they liked that. I believe this is the fall, so this is your leadership conference coming. First of all, learn your basic skills, and you'll move up in your career. What they're looking for is leadership. And anybody that belongs to Skills USA or has been a member of it, you're in a very top small percentage of the workers out there. Learn to get along with people. Well, I work with some people I really don't like, but they would never know it. That will help you more than anything that you do at work, is to find a way. If you're going to be a technician in a shop, they're going to tease you, and there's going to be some things that go on, but you'll need to find a way to work with it and put a positive light on it. Last, if you don't know what your passion is yet, look for it. Find your passion, because your passion will take you through your journey. I know that Rick looks for being punctual and showing up on time, and certain other what we call soft skills attributes. Chris says get along with people, but those are all correct answers. But your passion is what's going to make you find a way to make everything work. So and I didn't know what my passion was until I was way into this. It's just, you know what, I can't get enough of this. But I didn't know when I was in high school. I just said, well, what the heck? I was good at that, so I'm going to try it. So there you go.
Perfect. And Mr. Evans, to wrap us up here.
Yeah, sure. I again appreciate the opportunity. Kaylee did a great job in getting us ready for this and asking your questions. You're a very gracious host, and I can tell you're going to be successful as well. So I would just close with this from my standpoint. I echo Scott and Rick's sentiments. Great advice. I'll just add, always embrace continual learning. When you have those opportunities, if you're interested in transportation, automotive, this is an ever-changing industry. And if you just sit back and think, you know, I've been there, done that, and I don't really need to know anymore, you're going to get left by the wayside. And that's just a whole, the cold, hard reality. So embrace continual learning. Secondly, and finally, when I started out in a technical school, thinking I was going to do collision repair, I never thought I'd be sitting in Bloomington, Illinois, working for an insurance company, doing what I do. Never, I didn't even know what I didn't even know what I didn't know. So I'm going to encourage you to be inquisitive along the way. Don't be afraid to fail. I can't tell you how many times I've run up against that wall of failure, and you just dust yourself off and you get back up and you learn from those things, and that makes you better for the next opportunity. And so don't be afraid to fail. It happens, we all do it. And you know, if you keep those simple, I guess, tenets at the forefront, I think you'll do pretty well.
Perfect. Very good advice from all of you. Thank you to our participants for joining us today, and thank you again to our panelists as well. We greatly appreciate your time and investment in our future workforce. I hope our discussion gave you all some good insight into the transportation, distribution, and logistics career cluster and the opportunities that it creates. Keep an eye out for career cluster forums on SkillsUSA Connect to continue the conversation. I invite you to engage in your own conversations and ask any lingering questions there on the forum. You will also be able to find a recording of our panel discussion on SkillsUSA Connect after the event. Thank you all and have a good day.